It's just
he's doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, he is.
With I don't know if he's using Claude. He's using some. We'll find out. But
we will ask the questions.
Building some stuff.
I love it. Well, I think. Do you want me to read the bio, or do you want to read it?
I'll let you.
All right. I don't always have them ahead of time, so yeah. All right. Well, Jared Braverman is the marketing director for Vida Management, where he runs marketing for 18 apartment communities, about 7,000 units across 8 states, and the founder of AgencyFix, an AI native marketing studio. Rather than buy AI tools, he has built his own, an AI front desk that answers calls and works leads around the clock, an SEO system that helps local businesses get found. And he also publishes original research on how search competition actually works, and that he publishes that data free for journalists and writers to cite over at agencyfix.com/data. So we're going to be kind of tearing apart how he built this AI team, how he does the marketing for 7,000 units using these AI agents that he's built. So let's welcome to the show, Jared Braverman.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the show, Jared.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, glad to have you here. So before we get into our beverages and into the conversation, what's a reason people might want to stick around today and hear what the Braverman has to say?
I like that.
I've been doing marketing for a long time. I think it makes me a little bit of a different type.
Oh, right when he was dropping.
You guys be there? So I think I lost you for a second.
Yeah, you went robot mode there for a second. So let's try that again.
Roboto.
Oh, now we just lost him altogether.
Yeah.
You are Try logging out and back in if you can.
Yeah.
Try coming back.
Yeah, maybe try logging back in real quick.
Let's just do a real quick log out and back in and see if that helps with some of the connection. If you don't mind, we'll edit this part out.
Maybe. Maybe I can just talk about my opening beer disaster.
I think that's one of the seldom talked about dangers of podcasting. Like nobody talks enough about that.
That's right.
That when
I
you
came
have
within
beverages
inches of spilling this delirium nocturnum. It exploded all over my desk and just inches away from hitting the soundboard and my keyboard. Yeah,
that was almost a very expensive beer.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very sticky right now.
Yeah.
He's in the back. There he is.
Back in the green room. All right. Bring him back on.
All right. Does he get a second applause? You don't get a second applause.
No second applause?
No.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Guys. I'm back. Hopefully this is better.
It does seem better right now. We'll see if it holds. Yeah. So what I was asking is, before we get into our beverages, what's a reason people might want to stick around and hear what the Braverman has to say?
All right, cool. Yeah. So I've been in marketing for a long time. One of the things that makes me a little bit different, I think, than most marketers, I originally came with a tech background. Originally, I started off doing IT security. I got a bunch of certifications. Decided pretty early on in my career that I don't really like doing the tech as much as I like doing more of a creative kind of a pursuit. So I switched to marketing, and I also did graphic design. That's one of the things that you can see my design book up here. I'm really, really good with the creative side and really good with the tech side. And I bring that kind of trifecta to marketing. So I'm doing some really interesting stuff with AI these days. I'm really building my own marketing tech. And I think one of the things that makes me, like I was saying, a little bit of a different marketer is that I bring a tech side to what I do in marketing. So, I mean, I'm really good, like I said, with the creative. with the tech, I'm really, especially, I'm really making some really interesting stuff with AI.
Well, cool. We will definitely talk about that.
It's just,
we'll talk about those.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked at other tech companies and other software companies. I'm building stuff today just by myself. If the previous company I worked for would have been a whole team of people and millions of dollars to get to building today, which is pretty interesting, you know?
That's cool. That's cool. So you're keeping people unemployed. That's good to know, right? It's your fault. If anybody asks, it's Jared.
I think that's one of the things that people are really afraid of in the future, actually losing their jobs to AI. But I mean, if you look at anything in the past where people have been afraid, especially like industrial revolution, people were afraid that cars were going to, you know, put the business. So, I mean, yeah, things are going to change, of course, but I guess that's just the nature of evolution.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Yeah, and it's all the more reason to learn how to do some of the stuff you're going to talk about today. So we'll jump into some of that in a minute. But before we do, I know you're not having a alcoholic beverage, but you did bring a cup of something with you. What are you having on as your drink today?
World's best dad.
I'm drinking a nice cup of coffee right here.
Do you have a specific style you like of coffee, or you know, your light, medium, bold, your fancy coffees, or just Folgers?
I like a strong cup of coffee. I like a good amount of caffeine. But if you ask me like what's my favorite, I mean, when I travel to like Italy, for example, they have this espresso, which they put like this nice sugar cream on the top. It's called Cafe con Panna.
Yeah,
it's delicious. I don't know. The espressos, the cappuccino.
Yeah, well, that's good. Do you use, if you're having an alcoholic beverage, if you drink it all, like what's your go-to, you know, on a Friday evening or Saturday night or whenever?
Yeah. Well, truth be told, I've been actually sober for a long time. I gave up drinking almost 16 years ago. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So back in my my younger days when I was a little bit more wild and free, I loved beer. That was probably my go-to. But I wasn't discriminating. I mean, I like whatever you have for me.
Yeah, that's how most of us, I think, were in our youth. You know, like
yes.
Whoever brought
whatever
something
we
in
could
the cooler,
afford,
whatever was in the cooler was fine, for sure. All right. Well, I'm going to do mine. So last week on the show, I had these Cutwater pre-made cocktails, and I bought the variety pack. So I had last week, I had a lime margarita, and this week I've got the mango margarita. Because these were so good, and I did not pre-taste over the week. I spent several days at the pool, so it was very tempting to break out this, but I wanted to save it for the show. So I'm having a mango margarita, 12.5%, and we hope it's as good as the lime was last week. So
you like those high gravity?
Well, it's a cocktail, so it's going to have more alcohol in it. But yes, I do. But I only drink like one a week. I mean, this is literally the only time I drink. So, so what are you having, Jonathan?
I have something called a Delirium Nocturnum. This is a dark brown red. It's actually a dark ale. You know, you don't see too many dark ales this time of year, but let me show you.
It sounded dark just by the name. It sounded like it was going to be something dark.
Yeah. So let me showcase this. I don't want to hold it up. I've spilled half of this thing all over me as we speak, but this is it. So it's it's a fancy glass there. But the copy on this is horrible. So I don't know if somebody just like fed this into AI or whatever. It says initially a very good mouthfeel of alcohol and softness.
What?
I don't even know. Wouldn't make a radical mistake like that, right?
Man.
So this is followed by increasing bitterness. I think that's the last thing you want to say.
Man, it's terrible.
So somebody didn't.
Somebody give me their number. I need to. I'll rewrite that for free. That's just embarrassing.
Horrible.
So,
Horrible.
We'll see if the beer is worth writing about, and then I'll make that decision. So,
yep.
All right, well, gentlemen, let's cheers it up. What do we want to cheers to? We'll cheers to leverage.
Leverage. I like that. Cheers
to leverage.
There we go. It's a little louder.
All right. Well, Jared, on the show, we give our drinks 1 to 5 rating, 5 pints being the best. You can use decimal points, whatever you want, because the score doesn't really matter. But what do you give your coffee there?
I got a really fancy cup of coffee right here. I got it one of those K-cups at Trader Joe's.
There you go.
I think it cost maybe $6 for a 10-pack, so give it a solid 5.
Solid 5. All right, here, huh? There you go.
Wow.
5 for a Trader Joe's K-cup. Jared's an easy score. Jared's an easy score. All right. Well, that's good.
I've got a
High Society.
Yeah.
High Society. So I got one of those. I think I told you this, Sean. I got one of those Simply Good Coffee brew makers.
Yeah.
That thing is pretty cool. I love it. It's
basically like a pour over, but it's a machine, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it has this setting called Blossom that you put on it, and what it does is it seeps it slowly injects just a little bit of water into the grounds after you first grind your coffee beans. Hopefully that's what you're doing. You're not just putting instant coffee in there.
Yeah.
And right after you grind your beans, you put it in the maker, and then you flip this switch, this Blossom switch, and it just injects a little bit of hot water in there to kind of release a lot of this this goodness that's going on there. And it's supposed to take away a little bit of the bitterness of coffee.
Yep.
Although I don't know how you take away it completely.
Wow.
Well, I do that. I do that with my French press.
I think you just totally one-upped my Trader Joe's K-cup, Jonathan.
Yeah,
it's actually good. My wife hates it. She loves the bitterness of coffee. She's like, oh, I really enjoy this bitter flavor. She's German by she has a little German in her.
Oh, yeah.
So she naturally likes things miserably bitter.
So I do not. Yeah.
I'm actually this is pretty bitter too. I'm drinking it black because my son finished up all the milk. So, my son is 2 years old, so he finished up all the milk, and I don't usually like it black. But
there's none left for Dad. That's why you are the best dad. That's why you're the greatest dad.
Yes. I see this. Right. I see this saying, and it always makes me laugh.
Yeah. I'm gonna give mine. This is the mango is not as good as the lime, I don't think, but it's still very, very good. So I'm gonna give it. I think I gave a 4.8 last week, so I'm gonna give this a 4.7.
Oof, man.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, you need a cooler full of these next time you go to the pool.
I need it. I need one of those, but definitely by the pool or on the golf course for sure.
So what do you give the dark, whatever,
the
alcohol with the mouth?
Delirium. Let's see. The Delirium Explosion Nocturnum is. I'm going to give this one. Although it's all over, half of it's on my leg. It is. I'm going to give it a solid 4.3.
Okay.
It's very good. It's a nice dark ale, which you don't get to see a lot of dark ales around this time during the summer. Everything's light ales, summer ales, sour ales. I mean, everything is super light, hazy, and ugly. And I found this dark ale all of a sudden. A 4-pack. Maybe
to go with all the rain you've been having, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sick of rain as we speak. But no, I'm going to give it a 4. I think 4.3 is justified in this. If they didn't blow up on me, it may have gotten a 4.5. I don't know. So
well, that's a solid score. Sounds like a good day.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a good round today. So, well, Jared, you gave us a little background already when at the top of the show, and but give us a little more like what you're doing day to day, and then what you're also doing with AgencyFix. Just kind of give us a quick background, and then we want to get into like some of the details of what you're doing, but kind of how you got where you were real quick,
Sure.
and then we'll jump in.
Sure. Yeah. Well, to start with Vida Management, it's multifamily real estate. So it's we just did a transition, actually 5 new properties. So it's a total of 18 multifamily properties. Each one has 400 to 600 units in it. So they're big properties. They're spread out 8 different states. And I have a little bit of help with ad agencies to help me with like the Google ads, but I would say it's a combination of a couple things, and I'm starting to take the advertising in house, and I'm starting to do some pretty cool stuff on that side with the AI as well. The thing about the ad agencies that we've been using is, I mean, at least for multifamily, the ones that I've used, they take 20% of your ad spend. So for a property that's spending a couple $1,000s a month for Google ads, it's not a heck of a lot of money. So it almost ends up becoming like a set it and forget it kind of campaign. And, with cold traffic, you really got to do a lot more, than set it and forget it. If they click once and they go to your website and they don't convert, what are you doing to stay in front of them? What are you doing to show them, over several weeks to a couple of months while they're doing their research to decide where they want to live? What are you doing to stay in front of them and convince them, persuade them that your neighborhood's the right fit for them? So yeah, I mean, a couple of the things that I'm experimenting with. Well, I'm using another product that I didn't build. It's called Elise AI. It does kind of similar to my product that I built, which is it'll answer phone calls, it'll respond to leads with AI. So I'm setting it up at my properties where during the day we want them to speak to a person, right? Because you can't replace people with AI, right? They're still building a connection, they're still building rapport. If you can do that, you're going to sell in a way that AI can't replace the people connection, right? So I want them to talk to people. So I set it up so if it rings more than 3 times during the day, the AI will pick it up. And then after hours, I was able to get rid of the call center, which that was a mess too, with the AI that will answer it immediately. And my product that I developed, I mean, it's not exactly like I'm reinventing the wheel. There's plenty of other companies that are doing it, but I made an AI product also for smaller businesses that will do that for them. Respond to their text messages, answer their phone calls, answer their emails. It'll connect. I mean, without going crazy, I mean, I built kind of like a whole marketing stack, everything from getting discovered to nurturing leads and responding and staying in front of them with newsletters and emails. All of this is automated with AI. I built kind of like the whole ecosystem, and I'm using it for me and for my clients first, and I'm experimenting with getting ranked for AgencyFix, and I'm publishing all my unique data that I'm finding with my AI plugin, which we can get into more for journalists to cite, because I am uncovering some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, so I was looking through some of that data. It's pretty good, but go ahead, Jonathan.
No, I was going to say so what are you using? What are you using? Claude? What platform are you training? Are you building?
Claude has been a game changer. I really like to experiment and see what the best I can get though from each AI system that's out there, and there's a lot of different AI going around. So yeah, to answer your question, I love Claude. Claude has been a game changer. GPT and AI, I use that heavily too. AI is probably what I'm using that for the most part of it. I use Claude to help me with coding, but I know OpenAI is pretty good with that now too. I built some interesting stuff where I have 3 different AI systems that are talking to each other, and it's a layer of different steps that each of them will do, because AI will go off the rails if you just let it go. So you really got to keep it within a specific task you want it to do. So for example, if I wanted to, I created a plugin that people can use for lead magnets, and it will basically tell you, is your business idea good for startups? and without wasting, years and money. And basically, in a nutshell, I've worked for startups where the idea wasn't so great. They spent millions of dollars, kept banging their head against the wall, trying to get it to work, and not really understanding the reason why it wasn't going to work. So basically, I built this AI that will analyze your idea, and it has 3 different AIs that will deliberate, and it pulls actual data from different places. That's how my SEO plugin works too. I have all these different data sources that it's pulling information from, and it's looking like, for example, if you want to start an information products business like courses, it can go and scan that whole competitive environment, pull all that data in, and then the 3 different AI systems will deliberate. They'll talk to each other, and they'll have several rounds of back and forth, with one of them being kind of like the devil's advocate, like pushing back, like, is this really good? And the more rounds that you have going back and forth, it'll give you a good answer. So I have that as my business idea machine to come up with ideas. And then I also have that as a lead magnet for established businesses. Maybe you've been around for a while, but like one of my clients, for example, they're called Blecky Brothers. They're really, really high-end custom-made wicker, rattan, and cane furniture. They sell mostly to interior designers. They've been around since 1892. But over the generations, the industry has changed. Like interior design used to be a very face-to-face kind of thing, where these days it's more, a lot of the business is done online. You don't need to go to a showroom anymore. You can do your business online. So they are having unique challenges. Oh man, the cleaners just showed up. I'm gonna need to switch to the other room. Can you guys talk for a minute?
Yeah, we'll talk for a minute. I've got some interesting follow-up to that, but
yeah, go ahead and make your move.
In the other room on another computer. I'm sorry about that. My wife scheduled this, and it's literally in the middle of our podcast.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Wives are the worst, man.
They just don't understand. That's so interesting that he's got three AI platforms conversing with one another.
Yeah, Rich Sheffrin does something like that too, where he's got different AIs fighting each other for the best idea, and like
they're like
little gladiators, like AI gladiators. That's pretty cool. Like that's so far over my head right now.
I know. So I actually, this past week, I signed up for Claude, like basically the major, like not just the pro, but like the $200 a month thing, because I want to build some applications and software. And one of my clients in the manufacturing space just built out, and granted, this guy has zero. I mean, this guy would be the least. He has no background in programming or anything. Doesn't have a clue. And he literally picked up Claude just like a couple of months ago, just started playing around with it, switched to the pro version, had it build him. And basically for his small business, he's a small business he's a small manufacturer. Mm-hmm. But he needed an operation system that was tailored to what he does. So the problem is, a lot of these manufacturers and composites or some of these things, they buy these softwares and they have to kind of work around the software, whereas he's able to create a software that's basically designed specifically, that's tailored to what he does, to a T. Like everything is very specific to what he makes. Yeah. And he did that like in a matter of like 2 or 3 weeks. He had it built completely.
Yeah, and now he's the big promise of AI, right? Is that it can do stuff like that, where it can be, instead of an off the box or off the shelf SaaS program.
Yep.
You get exactly what you need for your little business.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's why I think that software manufacturers are in trouble. I think they're the ones, there's going to be a lot of job, displacement. But I think if you're a software engineer, you're probably in trouble because especially major software companies like that. Now it's exciting for guys that want to build, custom stuff like, but I don't think like, I think about like, CISPro, like companies like that. And like, even Salesforce, they've got this, Salesforce is
like all these big,
all of those. I mean, they're create these big platforms and they're like, here's what we have. You have to work around it in our parameters. And people are going to be like, at some point,
I can say a patch to fit this product that you also have or whatever. Yeah. It's stuff. Well, Jared is back in the room, so let's bring him back on.
Cool. He's in another location. He's hiding from the cleaning.
He's teleported.
Yeah, I had to move to the guest room. The cleaner showed up.
Yeah. Well, tell her not to bring the vacuum into this room, okay? Keep the vacuum at a minimum of 30 yards away.
Yeah.
There was a stretch there, Jared, where Jonathan's yard guys would come every week during the podcast.
Yes. At exactly the wrong time.
Yeah. Right as soon as we hit record, they'd be outside.
Oh my God. I remember when I was living in South Florida and I was in, my college days, and I'd be out late the night before, right? And those yard guys would come nice and early in the morning. And I'd be like, you guys are trying to sleep, go away.
Yeah, exactly.
They always come in the morning when you're hungover and you don't want them there.
Exactly.
The worst time.
They have a schedule. They know. They're like Santa Claus. They know who's been naughty and nice. Well, I want to ask a couple things, Jared, about this. We were just talking about Jonathan's got a client that made their own little, tool using software application using AI, and that's basically what you've done for the answering service or receptionist. I don't know what you call it. And I had a couple questions about that just to help listeners understand kind of the nuance. So like one of the problems with a call center is they typically are just an answering service. They take a message and then, it's kind of there so it doesn't go to nowhere, but it's not much information there either, right? It's kind of a dead end feel.
Yeah.
So when you program these AIs to answer, are they like fully backed with like all the complexes, information and floor plans, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for example, like what you said with the call center, we're so happy to do away with that because the call center, they would make mistakes. It's human error. Not only did they take down the wrong contact information, they would write down the wrong phone number or the wrong email. They would give out incorrect information, just a whole mess of stuff, right? But with the AI, it doesn't make mistakes like that. It's going to get exactly right whatever you give it. And to answer your question about does it know you, for example, the system that I created, and you can see it on AgencyFix.com, I call it Jessica. Jessica, you can create a knowledge base. Like you can basically train her on every aspect of your business. And I have several versions of her. So like, for example, the one on the home page, each page that you go to, it'll know specific information about that page that you're on. So like if you're on the page specific to answering service for medical, it'll tell you, yeah, we can help you. It's HIPAA compliant. It won't ask for patients like what they're being treated for. It'll answer questions very specific to that page that it's on. I have another version that I'm putting on my landing pages, which is the sales version of her. So the sales version, she has a specific goal, which is to either get an appointment booked or to actually push you to the product page on my site where you can actually sign up and pay for it right there. So depending on the use, I can program her to do specific things, and I can put that knowledge base about the company so she knows exactly everything about it. And then I can have transcripts saved in my database, so I can go back to my AI later and I can say, hey, I want you to review all the transcripts or this specific conversation. I see that she said this answer, which is wrong, or I don't really like how she answered it. I want you to train the system so that she answers it a different way. So the AI and me are working together to make her say exactly, or give her the personality that we want her to have, right?
Yeah, when you mentioned it earlier too, I was thinking like, if you go to a call center, that call center is not going to know or remember what the person asked when they came. They're just going to kind of default to their script and get the information. Whereas AI, you've got a record of what they actually asked on the call, right? So it's like,
yeah, I have something else you guys might find interesting too. I'm about to launch this also. It's called HeyJessica.ai. It's basically a senior companion, and they remember every detail, right? It's not just about giving them a companion, though. It's about also certain things like the adult child will set it up for them. They know that they can see that their parent is answering the calls. Some of the information, as long as it's approved, is shared with the children. So not only is it creating a record, like Jessica will tease out details from her life. So you have like this like memoir that you don't lose, right? It's there forever, right? And you can even publish it into a book or anything. But that information that you might not have been able to get on your own is there. And it gives specific details to the kids. So it might say, hey, your mom was just talking about that trip that you did to Italy. You know, she's really she's missing you. Now might be a good time to give her a call. You know, she's missing you and she's talking about that trip. You could call her right now and you know, it basically gives you like what she's thinking about or what she, you know, that she misses you. You could share stories or
if she mentions she's been having headaches and she won't mention that to the kids, then you know, that information could be, you know, kind of passed on. Yeah.
So that version of Jessica, it's meant to be something that an elderly person would connect with and something that's going to ask questions and remember details. You know, remember that your kid's name is Alice and that, you know, she lives in Florida and she loves going to Broadway shows, you know, and it'll remember details and ask them about it. And it listens, you know, it listens and it remembers. So that's one of the interesting things about it.
Have you tested that with that senior market? Have you been testing it to see how they respond to it?
I mean, just little. I'm about to start testing it now. I mean, if you want to go to the site, you can see it for yourself. It's just about ready to launch. So I haven't really tested it so much yet. I mean, I've really just been testing the functionality. There's just so many pieces to it: the onboarding, the personality, the memory.
I was just wondering how different markets, you know, a senior person compared to different people, how they respond to an AI like that, you know?
Yeah, I'm curious too. I mean, I don't know how well it's going to go over. I mean, maybe some people might think it's creepy, like an AI talking to their parent, or maybe they might like the fact that their parent has someone to talk to. They feel good. They like it. They get all this information about their parent that they didn't know. I think if it provides a value for both sides, it helps the parent or the adult parent and their child connect better together. I mean, I think those are priceless. Like I think if they feel that their adult parent or their elderly parent is being watched and cared for, and you know, like they know that they're okay. I think, you know, like how often do you call your parents? Probably not as much as you'd like to, right? If if your parents are still around.
I keep in my mind, I'm seeing iRobot where Will Smith's at his grandmother's house and she's got the robot that she likes, but he doesn't like. But yeah, so that's cool.
We want to make it clear that they are talking to AI. We don't want them to start, delusional thinking that it's an actual person.
Yeah, I've got a new best friend. Yeah.
We want to remind them on a regular basis that this is an AI, right? So they don't start going down the wrong path, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, but there's something about that though. There is and we're all seeing it. We're all experiencing it in real time, just how easy and how comfortable it is to talk to these tools.
Yes.
You know?
ChatGPT is like my therapist.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's my health nutritionist.
That's not a joke. That's serious. I mean, a lot of people are using it as their therapist.
Me included. You know, when you have one of those really bad days and you're like, I'm so pissed at this person. Who do you talk to for advice?
My wife, like she's like, she loves having conversations with it. Like, I mean, and it's like base level, but when she needs to bounce ideas, like it used to be like me getting a lot of text, and now it's, you know,
now you've been replaced.
Replaced by whatever the name is.
Forget jobs. Relationships are being replaced.
I think my wife thinks it's disturbing, actually. She's like, why do you always talking to AI? It's an AI. I'm like, I know, but like
there's some weird, I don't know what it is psychologically. Maybe that's a queer we need to do, Jonathan, for a show, but like there's a certain psychological safety in talking to I guess it's because you have a pretty good idea that it's not necessary. It's probably not going to judge you. I think that's the safety feel of it.
Yeah.
You know, now sometimes it goes
certainly
too far
not
the
chat.
other way. Yeah. Or
Chat
Gemini.
glaze you. Continue.
Yeah, Gemini is the same way. Gemini
I'm a Gemini.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Gemini, the app.
I mean, I've tried to have therapists before, but I don't like having to have a forced phone call once per week. Like sometimes I just don't.
You need it when you need it.
When I need it, exactly. When I need it, that's different. But like having to do a forced phone call at the same time every week, sometimes you need it, and sometimes you're like, all right, I don't want to do this. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about the receptionist. We've talked about this, senior companion AI idea. So you're really opening my mind up a little bit, and hopefully our listeners are kind of getting the same feeling that I'm getting. Like what are some other use cases for just, businesses? I know you've got some other tools that you've developed. So what are some other use cases where you can create these AI employees? Because we hear about them a lot, but we don't always know people that are actually using them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from the marketing side, all right, so here's a specific example of something I'm trying to solve, which it is kind of replacing people, but I guess it's for a good reason. So the properties that I have, the leasing agents and the property managers, they manage their own social media. They do their own newsletters. We just at my company, that's just, in the industry, that's actually kind of a normal thing. And me being there for a couple of years and coming into that and seeing leasing agents and property managers managing social media, I'm like, really? Like these guys are busy. Like property managers, they're managing a million different things, right? Related to the property. They don't have time and they don't have the experience and the know-how to do really a great job with marketing, with social media, with newsletters. They're expected to use Canva to create, graphics for their newsletters and for their social media. And, most of the properties don't do a very good job with it. So one of the things that I want to do is create a system where they can contribute to it. So these are the boots on the ground. These are people that are having events in their properties. They know who the residents are. They can get the photos. They can get the videos from the events. They can help feed the content to build the newsletter, but they shouldn't be the ones that are actually doing it.
They're creating.
I mean, it's already built, in fact, but it hasn't really been rolled out to the whole portfolio yet. But you can feed it content, like for example, for the newsletter once per month, it's templated. Each section has a specific topic, right? And the AI will ask them, hey, can you tell us about your resident events for the month? Can you tell us about like a resident that you want to spotlight this month? Can you tell us about, cute pet of the month or something, whatever we have in the template. And the AI will get the content from the on-site team. So they're still contributing, but it'll build the newsletter for them. And it's the same thing with the blog post too, but social media. So like you can create a content mix of different types of content that you want to create. Maybe one is reviews. Maybe another one is events. Maybe another one is actual photos of the property. Now, stuff like that, photos of the property, you got hundreds of photos. You can give that to the AI. The AI will go and write captions for the social media. And that's just one type of content in the mix. And it'll go ahead and schedule it for 30 days out in a dashboard that you can see. And if you don't disprove it, like if you don't reject it, it'll just go and publish in 30 days. Right. So not only is that freeing up time from the leasing agents and the property managers, but it's helping them to create better content and can do what they do best, which is contribute and tag the residents.
So how are they contributing? Because to me, it makes sense. Like if they had like a Facebook page, let's just use Facebook as an example. If they had a Facebook page, they're populating that with content, images, things like that. And then AI is, pulling from that, maybe that Facebook page. Is that how that's, or are they using some kind of, are they feeding?
No. So for example, for images, I created a place where you can upload images and like, for example, photos of the property. If they have an event and they get videos and images, they can go and they can upload it there. They can give it context, like what was this event about? So the AI knows what it's writing about. What we want them to do is tag the residents, join the conversation, get the photos, like the things that I can't do from being, in California for all these, remote properties. So we want them to still be part of the process, but we want them to focus on, just the people side of it, connecting with the people, being at the events, getting the photos, that kind of thing. We don't want them to be
the relationship. Yeah. The relationship side of things is like, let's do the personal touch that AI is sorely lacking in.
Yeah. And it'll save not only will it save a bunch of money, because like, if you think about their salaries, like property managers, they make a decent salary. If they're putting a couple hours a week, and there's 18 properties, if you do the math, that ends up being a couple $100,000 per year. And we're creating a system that will free them up from having to do a task that they'd rather not have to do. Right. So they're freed up to do what they do best, which is sell leases and manage the property. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's freeing them up. It's creating better quality content, and it's still bringing them in,
making them enjoy their work, right? Because they're doing fun stuff. They're just like, it's all personal connections.
I think,
especially on the leasing side, leasing agents, their job is to sell.
Yeah,
their job is to do the tours with people, follow up with people.
It's the 80-20 rule. What is 80% of your time should be focused on what matters most.
Correct. Yeah. Building relationships with the tenants so they want to stay. Yeah. They want to re-sign their lease.
Well, a tool like that makes me think too, as a writer, one of the hardest things is a blank page. Yep. But if you give me some like partially written text, or I've assembled, you've given me a couple reports that your company has, and I can assemble that much faster than I can just write from scratch. So it sounds like the platform you've created, it kind of prompts them what the platform needs, what the newsletter needs.
Yes.
So they're not having to like spend that cognitive bandwidth on.
No.
Oh, I got to
go
and
it'll
interview
follow
this
up with
person.
them too.
Right.
It'll say, cool. Like, for example, with these different content sections for the newsletter, it'll keep following up with them. Hey, and I'm bringing on another person to help me, like a marketing coordinator that will also follow up with them and help them, answer questions like, what is good content? You still need the people, right? You need an actual person to manage it. So,
so
this is something that
you've got a receptionist, you've got an AI, you got a marketing or social media marketer. What are some other, you said you built a suite of these just specifically, even just for the apartments. So what are some of the other ones you have?
Well, I was telling you about the SEO plugin, which I'm actually going to use that to make some landing page. It builds pages and it will. So, all right. So the long story short is it connects to the different API sources. Like I was telling you, it can get data from different places, right? So for example, you can create a website, but you want it to rank for searches. And there's good plugins out there that do that already. Like Yoast is one of them for WordPress.
Oh yeah.
But the thing that I was telling you, Jonathan, that it doesn't do is it doesn't tell you when you shouldn't compete for a keyword. So like it'll say, all right, this keyword gets 800 searches a month, and it'll give you a competition score, but it doesn't go and take a look at who is actually ranking for it right now and how many backlinks that site has. And what that means is, let's say you're going for a very competitive term, let's say marketing agency, and that gets thousands of searches a month. The biggest companies out there are going to rank for that head word. You're going to be competing with HubSpot and MOZ. The big companies are going to rank for those big keywords. So you need to know, if you're going to compete for a keyword, what is your chances of winning? And my AI will tell you this isn't winnable. It'll look at your exact site. It'll see how many backlinks are pointed to your site, and it'll analyze your site versus the competition and tell you this is what we think you can win. So, and it'll go and write the copy for the page and then build the pages themselves. So for example, I built AgencyFix.com 100% using AI. 100%. That site right there that you see, every page there, all of the functionality, all the contents, everything is built with AI.
How long did that
talking to a phone while I'm traveling in Spain, I'm building out the site.
Okay, so you have a background. You're a software guy, right?
No, I'm just a marketer with a solid tech background.
Well, you have a technical background.
Yeah.
how easy was it? First of all, how long did it take you to build that? And how easy is it for someone who has no experience whatsoever to create something like that?
I mean, I think AI has leveled the playing field, but I still think you have to have a certain skill set to be able to do this, for example. I mean, I don't know.
You have to know what you have to know what you want, right? I mean, you have to know exactly what to,
Yeah.
You have to define exactly what you want.
This that I built here, though, the next step, not only am I going to start ranking for these keywords and getting found by the businesses themselves, but I want to be able to offer this as a white label to marketing agencies or to marketers that want to use it for their own business. So depending on what you do, let's say you're the marketing director for a big plumbing company, you can go and take this plugin, install it on your site, and you can get a realistic idea of how you're ranking compared to the competition, rewrite your core pages with the right keywords that you can win, and maybe even improve the design, make it look better. That's a service that I'll offer also, is done for you website design. So they'll hire me, I'll build their site out, and then they'll pay me an ongoing fee to manage their SEO with the plugin. And it'll keep writing content so that you start ranking for those keywords.
I saw a stat the other day. There's two things I want to do. One, I want to give some specific examples directly from your website around the difference in keyword phrases. I thought that was really interesting. But the other thing that you just reminded me of is, I think it's sometime in the last 6 months or so, I saw an article where AI written content, like total AI written content, since ChatGPT came out, basically. So what, 3.5 years ago, has now exceeded in volume all human written content of the last 500 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No surprise.
So here's the question, that I think a lot of people have in their mind. Like, now AI is reading AI, and you have this, there's the dumb internet theory and some of that stuff. Like, do you see that being a problem? Like, how do you handle that? And how do you weigh that when you're building these tools? Like, because that seems like a real threat. That
I get the question. I get what you're saying. So like, one of the things is, I don't want to create content just for the sake of creating content, like just another boring article about, hey,
I felt that way before AI. I mean, as a copywriter,
how many boring articles that people write for a blog post, which is, nothing original. I mean, it's just like, or for example, how to build a website, or how to rank for keywords or something like that. Yeah. So the way that I want my AI to function is, I want it to use original data. So like, for example, all this research and all this data that I'm figuring out from my own site by pulling all the data from the API sources, I'm creating my own unique data. For example, I'm learning about which keywords that I can rank for and which I can't. So I'm creating all this unique data with my AI, and I've even trained my AI to look for unique data that we can create, that we can put in a database that we can use for the automated articles, because I don't want it to create just boilerplate dummy content that anyone can create. I want it to be articles that have a unique spin that only I can write, because it's coming from my own data or from my client's data, Yeah,
that makes sense. I actually wrote a blog post today based on something I saw in a school group I'm in, and that I disagreed with. And like, that's the kind of stuff that I think needs human direction and notice. A human to notice, is those kind of pushback ideas where this is like the consensus idea, but here's my, in my life experience, here's what I've noticed and how that's different. And then you can kind of make some conclusions.
Yeah.
But, so on your data page, which we're going to put a link to that, the one you said people could quote from and stuff. I thought this was really interesting. The subhead says, I'll put this back on the screen, but for our podcast listeners, it says 2 ways of saying the same thing could be 7,658 times harder to rank for.
Yep.
And you gave the example of restaurant marketing agency. So there's 720 people a month searching for that, versus restaurant marketing by itself. There's 880 people searching. But the difference in the number of websites linking to that was, I guess, the 7,658%. So your chance of ranking for the first one are much higher than the second one.
Correct.
And, the other example you gave is SEO audit services or SEO audit tool. Services is easier to rank for than tool.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Which I could see, like, from a copy standpoint, I can, if I put my copywriter hat on, I could see that those are slightly different audiences as well. Somebody looking for a tool is a different, not always, but could be a different buyer than somebody looking for services. But still, the difference is so big. I can see why you might want to rank for the easier term,
right?
Because you could always
want to
pivot.
have a clear strategy, and also you want to know where your website stands. Like maybe your site has been around for a really long time, and you have a lot of backlinks pointed at you. So you want to know, relative to the competition, is that keyword winnable? And if it's not, you want to know. You don't want to spin your wheels writing content for a word that you can't win for, realistically. Yeah. So you need an honest, hard truth that no, you got a snowball's chance in hell of ranking for this keyword, so you don't waste your time with it.
Well, speaking of ranking for keywords, because even that's changing, right? So we're becoming less. We're not getting on Google. We're not getting to even see, unless you scroll down. It's now below the fold, the things that you used to click on as a result. Now it's a footnote.
Everything's AI. Yeah, it's
a footnote at best, and half the time you don't even look at that because you're reading the AI summary, and you have to click through to the footnote.
Right.
So how are you helping people? Are you noticing?
Well, in
SEO
his case though, they're looking specifically for, I don't know, they need, well, maybe they do need an AI summary, but they're also looking for specific information on a property in that area. Is that right?
Well, that would be Google Local. That would be like a Google Map search. So you're going to come up in the top results. Yep. Local is different than, like a broad search, like marketing agency. So like for Sean's question with the AI answers, that wouldn't be like a local, like if you're searching for a local restaurant or something, you're not going to see those AI answers. You're going to see the local map pack is what it's called. And it'll tell you the ones that are coming up first. Usually it's a combination of like how many reviews they get and how much traffic is going to their website, that kind of thing. But for Sean's question about the AI answers, that's also another thing that people need to look at these days is, are the LLMs, the learning, I forget what LLM
language learning,
large language models.
Yeah, there you go. Are they looking at your business and why? Are they recommending you? So like that's another on-page element that you need to incorporate when you're creating these pages. It's called schema, and it's something that's going to tell it's pretty complex. I mean, the sites that are really getting referenced by the like ChatGPT, for example, not only do they have the correct schema on their site, but they're getting a lot of traffic to that. So it's sending signals to OpenAI for OpenAI to say, all right, they have the correct schema, so we can see what they do specifically. What is it relevant to what this person's asking about? And then they look at the typical signals that Google looks at too. Are people clicking on it? Did they get reviews? How much traffic do they have? How many backlinks? The same thing that Google does. They're looking at, why is this business going to be the one that I'm going to recommend? So if it's something that's very local, and you're asking ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, can you tell me the best pulled pork place in Santa Clarita? It's not going to find the most popular one necessarily. It's going to find the one that has the correct schema on their website, the one that has a lot of reviews, people are going to it. The one that's doing everything right, not necessarily the best pulled pork.
Yeah. I can't imagine California having the best pulled pork, period. But especially two guys from Georgia, you're not going to
exactly.
That.
That is nonsense.
Texas. You're like, forget about it. You guys don't know pulled pork or ribs.
Yeah. The next thing you'll be telling me is they got brisket out there too, which I don't think is true.
They got this type of steak out here that I've never heard of until I moved here, called tri-tip. Are you familiar with tri-tip?
I've heard of it, but I don't know if that.
I mean, living on the East Coast my whole life, I never heard of tri-tip until I moved here.
Tri-tip.
Tri-tip, it's a real thing here in California. You see it everywhere you go.
Well, I've got two more questions. Jonathan would kick himself if we didn't get this one answered, because I saw the back and forth. And that is, one of the things you've done with your AI tools is you've taught them to refuse, I think is the word you used. And that's one thing that really stood out when we were putting out pitch requests, you responded. Yeah. That's one of the things that really stood out to both of us, is how you're teaching the AI to refuse certain things. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And why is it important?
Kind of like what we were just talking about, whether you can win a keyword or not. So my tool will go, like, for example, if I want to create a new page and I want to rank for HVAC or plumbers or something like that, my tool will go and it'll look for all the keywords related to that, like HVAC answering service, for example. It'll find all the keywords. It'll look at their search volume. It'll look at the competition, the businesses that are ranking number one for that, both locally and international and nationally, right? And it'll look at my site and say, all right, your site has like 100 backlinks to it. It's a relatively new site. You probably don't have much of a chance of ranking for all these keywords, but out of that whole list of keywords, we found 3 or 4 that you might have a chance of ranking for. Maybe they're a little bit of a longer keyword, they have a long tail, like more words in it, but it'll analyze and say, all right, that long tail keyword, maybe it gets 100 searches a month, very low competition for it. And the ones that are ranking for it right now, they don't have a hell of a lot of backlinks. That's a winnable one. It'll tell you the other ones, no, don't go for it. So in my case, it'll give me a report and say, these are the ones that we recommend running with. The other ones, forget about it. And I'll say, all right, go ahead, roll out the pages. I want you to incorporate those keywords into the page and pick the one main keyword that we want to rank for, which is going to be the one that's in the URL, the one that's in the title. We want to have one main keyword with the other ones as supporting keywords throughout, right? And that's going to be the one keyword that we're going to go after because it's winnable. So the other ones, you need to know realistically, is it worth investing your time and your resources into it? And the one that you think is really your hedge, your foot in the door, that's the one that you want to focus your time on.
So instead of ChatGPT or one of the other LLMs saying, great idea, let's build a blog post around that, it'll actually push back and say no, this is not worth pursuing.
Not worth your time.
And personalized to you and your site. Maybe one of your websites that you work with, maybe they do have a high domain authority. Maybe you've been around forever. And like my client, Blecky Brothers, they've been around since 1892. I mean, they're a small business, but they're well known in the interior design space. There's a whole bunch of articles out there linking to them. That site has high domain authority because they've been around for so long and they got so much press and publicity. And, links pointing back at that site. So that you want something that's going to analyze what's your domain authority. It should tell you, yes, we believe that these keywords are winnable because it's analyzing the competition and measuring it up against you.
Could you use a tool like that to start a brand new site and then, dominate by going after all those smaller?
It depends. It depends. I mean, because not every idea is going to be equal, right? It's like some business ideas, they're just not good ideas. Hence my business idea machine. So you want to know, is your idea something like, for example, if you're going after, I created a site originally called AI Profit Blueprint, and I was going to make information products like courses and books, and I was going to use AI to help me create them. And the problem with something like that is that there's a ton of content like that. And it's like pushing a boulder up a hill. You got to get reviews for each book on Amazon when you're an unknown author. It's difficult, right? So you really want to understand before you put your time and your money into a business idea. Is it something like, what's your competition look like? Maybe it's a business where your margins are low and your competition is high. Like you need to understand all this stuff before you waste your time. And I don't think.
Do you remember Market Samurai? I used to use that back in the day.
No, I never heard of that. What's the deal with that?
So it was the software, like this was pre-AI. Like I would say, you remember that, Sean? Going back going back like 15 years ago, Market Samurai.
Yeah.
So it would do a lot of the same thing, but nowhere near what AI can do. But it's analyzing every keyword and not just SEO, but it's analyzing market opportunity for any specific niche that you want to, like you just said, create. If you want to create a information product, or if you want to create some kind of, niche, niche industry type website or, product, it would tell you what your chances are of dominating that, based on
and that's important. That's important. Like, I don't know if you guys have figured out from talking to me, but I'm a little bit all over the place with ideas. You know? And I have a whole track record of failed businesses that I've tried to start. A whole track record. And you learn from your mistakes.
That's how you learn. Exactly. I used to love that, because it was like, I would geek out on some of the research on that thing. And then, but it was like, it's nowhere near what you can get today, because everything is so, like, AI is so fast and so much faster, and everything is, updated so much quicker with AI than it is with some of those old tools that we used to use back in the day. So
I've got one more thing that I want to talk about, because I think this is an area of persuasion and business building that a lot of people overlook, and you're doing it, Jared. So I wanted to get your feedback. That's publishing original data as a way to build expertise and as a way to build authority in your industry. And I think now with AI, like, that's easier than ever to mine that information. If you just use your own if you just use your kind of perspectives and different things. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, how might different people create their own original data, not just opinions, but actual data?
Yeah, I get it. I get the question. I think being upfront and honest and documenting your journey and really experimenting with things that might teach and show your success, right? I want to be really upfront with how well I'm ranking with my plugin. I want to make my site a case study. And I have all this different data that's coming in. Like, I'm able to track my competition, their keyword, how many backlinks they have. I have a way to get publicity with my plugin, how many people I can reach out to, or what can I win in terms of publicity. I want to document the whole journey. So, like, each of these things, I have data coming in showing me, all right, I'm now ranking for this keyword, or I'm starting to get more visibility with my Quora posts. And you can see with the analytics how many more impressions I'm getting, I have a dashboard that'll show you for all these keywords that you want to rank for. It'll show you what your actual ranking position is. So it'll keep track of that, as well as the competition, and it'll keep track as you're moving closer to that number one spot. So it'll see everything that you've done to get to that ranking position. That's all unique data. So, like, you want to be able to show how you did it. And that, I think, when you approach, for example, if you're approaching a journalist and you want them to pick up your story, if you just come with a generic topic, there's 50 other people that have approached them for that same, hey, I do AI and marketing thing. But if you can come to them with something that's newsworthy, that's actual real data, you got a much better chance of them picking you up, right?
Well, I want to go further than that. I want to go a little deeper than that. So let's take your Wicker people, your Berkeley. Was Berkeley? Is that their?
Bilecki, yeah.
Bilecki, sorry. Yeah. Bilecki, those guys, how would they, if they came to you and said, we want to publish our own data, like, how would you do that for somebody like that, right? Somebody that's not necessarily, like, your stuff kind of lends itself to tracking and data, but like a life coach or somebody that makes wicker furniture for interior designers, like, how did they, because it's such a powerful tool to publish your own data, especially with LLMs. They really like that stuff.
Yeah.
How do you even start to think about that as that kind of business?
I think of it like a case study. So, like, for example, if you're going to, in a business like that, in a website that's been around for so long, it's interesting to see when you take your baseline, when you first, set up, like, let's say you install the plugin for the first time and you want to do a baseline. You want to see where are they ranking now, what pages do they currently have on their site, and then you go and you use the API to pull all the keywords that are specific to wicker, rattan, cane, interior design, whatever, furniture. you pull all those keywords in, and then you start to build up like a baseline of where they're at and what their possibilities are. And you track, over the weeks or months as they start to rank for these keywords. And, a business like that, they're going to rank well because they do have that authority. It's not a new business, right? They have lots of backlinks. So for them, you're starting at a much higher baseline than somebody that's just starting out a new business from scratch. So
yeah, but I'm saying if they want to create their own data, and I don't mean like track their own data. I'm talking about like they want to create their own journalist worthy data set around their business. You know what I mean? Like how does a service business, how does a plumber do that? How does a life coach do that? How does you know what I mean? Like I'm not talking about just like SEO ranking. Like how do they create their own data?
Original data for them. So
yeah,
I mean, one of their challenges that they've had is that, like I told you before, the interior design industry has changed. So, it used to be, I used to work in the interior design industry. I was the marketing director for probably the biggest interior design building in Manhattan. And it used to be that you could get a showroom in this building and you'd be successful. Like there just wasn't enough showrooms, right? And these days, it's hard to get as much traffic to go in person to this building because they can do all their shopping online. So, I mean, to build unique data for these guys, I think you would document your journey to adapt to this new norm, right? Like, what are you doing to compete in an industry today where, you got the huge brands with big marketing departments, which they don't have, by the way. How do you compete against something like that? That would be interesting data. So like where they're at now and where they're going.
I guess now that we're talking about it, I'm trying to get it out of you. I'm getting my own ideas too. So like, I guess they could interview. They have a massive list of interior designers based on what you said.
Yeah,
they could do a annual survey of interior designers of trends, and if they publish it, that becomes their original data because they're the only people that have access to those interior designers, right?
Or to personalize it for them, they have pretty big interior designers that they work with. Maybe they're interviewing these designers and they're talking about their different clients that they work with, the types of homes that they're installing it in, what types of furniture that from Bilecki the people really love that they're successful at selling, like maybe things like that.
But I don't think on original data, you necessarily have to toot your own horn as much as, because if you publish the data, you become the expert, even if it's not necessarily about you. In fact, I think it has a lot more credibility sometimes if it's a little more not about you, right? You're just talking about interior design trends. And by the way, this was produced by Bilecki. And then people are going to be like, well, who's Bilecki? And then they go to the website and they look at it and they're like, oh, this is cool stuff. I need this for my patio. I need this for, whatever.
That's true.
So that's more what I'm thinking. Like, how does a plumber do that? How does, an apartment complex do that? Like those, that's what so I think I answered my own questions and we got there together. So hopefully our listeners got some ideas with that too. But that's what I mean with original data, because I think it's such a important thing. I mean, Google's EAT, blog formula, that's a big focus, is like original data and expertise and authority, and LLMs value original data big time.
Exactly. And like you said, not self-promotional.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Whew. That was a lot, man. We're at an hour, 9 minutes here. So,
so still got that same beer?
Mine's done. So
mine is too.
I switched to water.
Oh, well, there you go. You already drained
done with the coffee.
Done with the coffee. So yeah, that's good stuff, Jared. Where can people find out more about you? And I mean, we know the answer, but I'll put it up here on the screen, but tell us about who you're looking for and who you're wanting to work with right now.
Yeah. So AgencyFix.com. I'm looking to work with primarily service businesses, HVAC, plumbing, medical, businesses that have a high ticket item. And if they miss a lead, it's going to cost them a lot of money. So, my services will not only help them get more leads, it'll help them close more of them. Because if your customer calls you and you don't respond to them within seconds, they're going to call your competition. So being first and being quick is the name of the game. You don't want people that are looking for a dentist or a doctor to have to call your competition because you didn't pick up the phone call. So awesome. Getting the leads and then nurturing them and getting those appointments booked. any service business with a high ticket item, I can help.
Yeah. You don't want the caller going to the next name in the yellow pages, right?
And they do. They're not going to wait. I mean, if you need something done and you call someone, they don't answer, you're going to call the next one, right?
Yep. Just let your fingers do the walking. They'll go right down to the next people.
That's it.
That's for our old listeners. Our young listeners have no idea what I'm talking about. What?
Let your fingers.
Yeah, let your fingers do the walking. That's an old slogan there.
So, question on AgencyFix. So, you guys you build it out for them, or is this a software that it's built in place and you lease out, or how does that work?
Well, for the voice answering, we could provide a number to them. So, for example, we could also integrate with their existing number, but that would be a little bit more complex. But we can give them a phone number that they can use for their advertising, for their lead campaigns. And depending on the package that they sign up for, like let's say they get our pro package, it'll answer calls after hours. We can set it so, like, for example, with my properties with multifamily, maybe it rings 3 times during business hours. And if a person doesn't answer, the AI will pick it up. It'll respond to text messages. It'll respond to emails. So depending on their specific use case, it is a new product. It's working. You can test it out on the site right now on every page, especially the home one. You can see Jessica. You talk to her. It'll answer your questions. So it's ready to go, and we're offering no setup fee as of right now. Probably that'll change in the future, depending, especially on the complexity of the setup. But as of right now, no setup fee.
So the AI that they talk to, I mean, is that how? I mean, does it feel? I mean, you've tested this out. I mean,
you could test it yourself right now. If you see that box right there, you can talk to Jessica.
Yeah. So you can go to the agencyfix.com website and
test it out. So there's no delay. She answers right away. I mean, there's like.
Yeah, I don't have it hooked up to the audio. Yeah. So
people can test it.
Yeah, it's the second frame down on the agencyfix.com homepage. And I'm showing it here on the YouTube video.
Yep.
So yeah. And you can tap or talk, it looks like. So that's cool.
I noticed it's getting better and better though. Like this interactive, like, because I mean, like it or love it or hate it, this is where things are going. So I'm glad at least it's getting a little better. There's less delay and there's more, a quicker follow-up.
Anything is better than a phone tree. Like I'd much rather talk to AI than a phone tree,
right?
So like, because if the AI is trained on all the data, it probably has a better, faster than most of the customer service reps.
If it can answer your questions, why not?
Yeah. But the ones that still have a blend of like old phone tree with a little bit of AI, that's still just annoying. Like you just need to go all AI if you're going to do that.
AI will connect you just like a phone tree if you wanted to set it up that way.
Yeah. So
you could have it route to different people.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. It looks like you've got some cool tools, and people probably should. Do you have a newsletter or anything that people can stay tuned? Because it sounds like you're always rolling stuff out.
I will. I don't yet, but
Jared,
that is coming soon. Newsletter is coming soon.
That's your next bot you need to create.
I have the bot. The bot actually already works for the newsletters. It's creating the blog articles. All the blog articles you see there, those are all AI created, and it's all automated, 100%.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool.
And it's pulling the original data, by the way, because my original data, my AI is trained to look for original data and then add it to a database. So anything that it finds that is useful, it'll add it there and then use that in the blog articles. And then those blog articles are also trained to link to different pages in the site.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
So, absolutely.
And it helps.
Like you said earlier, it's freeing up people to do the in some regards, it's people are doing what they really enjoy doing in whatever job they're in or whatever profession they're in. They're doing they're not doing the mundane stuff. They're focused.
Have you ever seen that animated movie in the future where everybody's driving around in those like AI cars and they're all really fat and they don't have to do anything for work anymore? Maybe that's
Wally.
We're going.
Yeah, Wally, I think.
Yeah, is it Wally?
We've watched that. I watched that with that kid so many times. Wally. Yeah.
Yeah, the Jetsons weren't fat for some reasons. I guess they didn't happen to them. So
they had treadmills in space, I guess, but
they had peptides. They had peptides already. So, all right. Well, Jared, we're going to let you go. If you want to hang out in the green room for just a second, if you got a second, we'll do a little after show chat. But it's been good, man. It's been good having you on.
Yeah, cool.
And good stuff.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll close out and be right back with you.
Okay.
Yep. So interesting.
Man, there's so many directions to go with this. I mean, it can definitely be overwhelming. I guess you just got to pick something and just kind of knock out one thing at a time and implement it and test it and see how it goes, or hire somebody to help you with it. And
I think they're all, about similar in equality now. I mean, Claude, Gemini, all of these platforms, chat, Grok, I'm sure there's some, I guess to a degree. I was reading an article today, like somebody had, I think it was between Chat, Claude, and Grok. Somebody had them build out a, you remember Minecraft? Like, that was so popular back like 10 years ago. So somebody had the idea of like, having each of these platforms build out their own version of a Minecraft world.
Yeah.
And so it was going through it. It was actually pretty interesting. And they all had their own versions of what that would look like.
Yeah.
It was so cool though. But
they all can do it.
Yeah. So Grok had probably the most, from a graphic standpoint, was the closest that resembled Minecraft. But then there were other aspects. There were, other platforms that had their own strengths. Like Claude, I think, generated a much bigger world, like to explore. So there were all, they all had pluses and minuses, but they all were good to a degree. So
and that's what Jared was saying. He tests an idea on several different platforms to see which one does that particular build the best. So and I think the stuff's just going to get easier and easier to build, but you also don't want to necessarily get left behind.
Nope.
So if you've got an idea, it really is. Some of the stuff Fable can do on Claude now is pretty impressive and
amazing
with a very minimal prompt. The prompt engineering days are already dying. You can just talk to this stuff. Like 2 years ago we had 18-page prompts. And now you can get the same result with.
That's literally like I was telling you earlier. My manufacturing client, he built not only the operating software in his business by simply having a conversation with it, but the first thing that he did when he first started is it built a website. He had a conversation. It built him a new website completely.
Crazy.
Just by literally conversing with it on a regular basis and this took a week. So it was like working behind the scenes, but he would have conversations like, hey, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? And like no training whatsoever. No, no background. Amazing. Never built a website in his life. Yeah. And sure enough, it built him one. And then not only that, but it like, I'm like, okay, so from there, you gotta, install this in your you gotta put everything together. You got to upload it to your server. He's like, no. It does it all.
That's cool.
Connects with your server. It does everything. So like, all right, cool.
It's amazing. All right. Well, I don't know if we have a guest for next week, but if not, we'll come up with something. So
check us out. Episode 441. We'll see you next week. PersuasionByThePint.com. Find us on all of your favorite platforms, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, you name it. We'll see you next week on 442.
See ya.